Here's what's happening right now. The heat and humidity are here, but the storms are not. Will they be showing up tonight, and what time can we expect them for the rest of the weekend? Paula?
Hi, Ben. A new iteration of the president's travel ban goes into effect this evening. We talked to travelers and families to see how it will affect them. Karen?
All right, Paul, up first, a mysterious home explosion. What set off the disaster that left a husband and wife dead and their daughter running for her life?
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
First at 4, the view from Sky 4 shows the awful destruction left behind after a home explosion in Orion Township. The home flattened, debris tossed all around the yard. Witnesses heard that blast around 8:30 last night. A mom and dad telling their daughter to get out. She made it. They did not. Our Sean Lay is tracking the search for a cause.
We've been out here all day speaking with investigators, watching them do their work, also talking to community leaders about the horrible loss of life here. Let me get you a little closer to this couple's home, and you can see it's absolutely devastating. Nothing left here. There is a propane tank. It was shut off. That is a big clue for investigators right now to find out why it was shut off, who shut it off, and were there any problems with that tank. Now from Sky 4, you can see the incredible damage done here. 8:30 last night, the home explodes, sending debris out 40 feet. Kathy and Bruce Dominguez were home. So was their 29-year-old daughter, Kim. We're told Kathy and Bruce yelled for Kim to get out of the home. She was able to escape with minor injuries, but the resulting fire was too much for the couple who essentially built this home together. The couple also has adult children, one out of state, one out of the country, who are now rushing back here. The entire Orion Township community now supporting this family and their firefighters as this investigation unfolds. In Orion Township, Sean Lay, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Sean. Let's move to Macomb Township, where a man will be spending the rest of his life in prison after he was found guilty in the murder of his own father. 55-year-old Gregory Neiman was found guilty of first-degree premeditated murder back in May for strangling his 89-year-old father to death. Well, today, take a look. Neiman was in court for his sentencing, where he had to be escorted out of the court after blowing up at the judge and proclaiming his innocence.
I could never do anything, as it states, to hurt my father. I love my father. And everything that's said about me, that I did this murder, that is a bold-faced lie. I'll take a polygraph, fill this whole courtroom with judges as yourself, and then have these guys take a polygraph. We'll see who's lying.
Neighbors say Neiman was abusive to his father in the past and that police had previously been to the home before the murder. His sentence comes without the possibility of parole. A Detroit man came face to face with his alleged victim today in court in a case that put the Grosse Pointes on edge. 27-year-old Gerald Day is accused of sexually assaulting a 37-year-old woman in Grosse Pointe Woods back in April. He's been charged with criminal sexual assault, home invasion, and assault with intent to commit armed robbery. Today, he was in court for his preliminary exam. New at 6, you'll hear from the victim as she describes what happened during that home invasion. The case against a man charged with the murder and sexual assault of an 8-month-old girl in Inkster has been dismissed. 22-year-old James Lee Saltmarshall was charged with murder, child abuse, and criminal sexual conduct in connection with the death of his infant daughter, who died at an Inkster hotel back in April. The case was thrown out today after the Wayne County medical examiner determined the death was an accident. The search continues right now for a Macomb County mother accused of kidnapping her 2-month-old baby. This was breaking news yesterday at 4. The Macomb County Sheriff's Office says Carol Maxwell does not have custody of her son, Terrence. They were last seen Monday at a home in Harrison Township. Still, no sign of them today. If you happen to have any information, please call police. In the first forecast, it's starting to feel like, oh, we live in Florida with a chance of those pop-up afternoon storms. Ben, what do the next few hours look like?
Yeah, kind of a tropical feel out there, Karen, because we've got the temperatures, which are now up to 88 at Metro, and those heat index readings are getting awfully close to 90 in a couple spots. So far, we don't have anything to look at on 4 Live radar. Just the hints of some showers trying to develop down here towards Hillsdale County. It doesn't look like those are having any luck. Looks like some more put-together showers across northern Indiana. So far, no lightning strikes, and these are going more more east than northeast. So we'll keep an eye on these. There is still a chance that we could be seeing a strong, possibly severe storm tonight. The chances are a little bit better tomorrow. And then the weekend is looking mainly dry. We'll talk about rain chances for at least part of the weekend. And they come back as we head towards the 3rd and 4th of July. More on that coming up in a few minutes. Karen?
The long-delayed, bitterly debated travel ban from the Trump administration takes effect tonight. Although right now only the parts approved by the United States Supreme Court will be implemented, the restrictions still affect people from Libya, Syria, Somalia, Yemen, Iran, and Sudan. Visa applicants from those countries will have to prove close family or business ties in the United States. If not, they will be banned for 90 days. There's also a 120-day ban on any refugees fleeing persecution from any country. Visas that have already been approved will not be revoked. Our Paula Tutman is live at the airport this afternoon with a closer look at how this will impact people in Metro Detroit. Paula.
Hi, Karen. Yeah, I think it's really important to point out that we did find and talk to people who completely support this iteration of the travel ban and even more, but they would absolutely not go on camera to talk about their opinions in any way. And so in this report, you hear from people who would. We met Dale at Metro Airport headed back to Rochester from his travels. He's confused about the efficacy of the travel ban as is.
I'm not saying it's a good idea or a bad idea, but like I said, we need some different ideas.
At this Michigan Works Satellite Center in Dearborn, a steady stream of people of international descent look for work. For many, this is the gateway to the American dream. And here, a young woman's story leads to a broken heart when the new travel ban goes into effect this evening.
I filed for my husband 2015.
She wants her name and face concealed for security reasons. As a girl who grew up in Yemen, she literally fell in love with a boy next door.
I loved him. Yeah, I knew him. He's the person I knew I was going to marry, and everything was okay.
When her family moved to Michigan, she lived here, studied here, got her U.S. citizenship here, but left her heart in Yemen with that young man. She returned 2 years ago to marry him and start their lives as man and wife. When she became pregnant, she returned to her home in Michigan.
I've been doing the papers for him to come, and I've been waiting, doing everything. Now I'm at the last step, they said, for the interview, but with the travel ban, I'm kind of worried. I mean, he doesn't know his son. His son is 1.5 years. He doesn't know him.
He was at the last step of the travel visa process, the very last step, and the travel ban now squashes his ability to join his wife and son, the one he's never held in his arms.
I want him to come here, work, protect me, his son, support us. He's going to be helping his family, help us. We need him here.
At Access, this is a reoccurring storyline, and the various iterations of this travel ban is stretching resources to the limit to protect families.
What I know is that there's tons of increased communication between all of our organizations to say, okay, here's this analysis, here's what you need to know here, here's where we have attorneys in this city, oh, I need an attorney in this city. You know, that has increased, I mean, that's more than doubled, I would say.
And so what happens for organizations that support immigrants from all nations is they're really gearing up for a lot of confusion, really on the ground level and at the customs level. Their fear is what will happen with the first iteration of the travel ban, that there wasn't a lot of clarity and they will have to somehow navigate people and customs through some of that lack of clarity. Keep in mind that the Supreme Court hears arguments on the travel ban in October. Karen?
All right. Thank you, Paula. First at 4, we're on top of other stories making headlines around the world. Russia is accusing the United States of preparing a, quote, provocation in Syria, which would be blamed on President Bashar al-Assad's government. A spokeswoman in Moscow says Syrian rebels have already fabricated video to show fake evidence of a chemical attack to put the blame on Assad. Earlier this week, the Trump administration said there were signs that such an attack was in the works. Russia is hoping President Trump will meet with President Vladimir Putin at next month's G20 summit to talk about Syria. Meantime, Australia and the United States have begun their biggest ever joint military exercises. The show of force involved 33,000 U.S. and Australian troops off the coast of Australia. The exercise is designed to send a message to both allies and potential enemies, including North Korea and China. The operation will continue for a month. Iraqi forces are pushing toward a landmark mosque blown up last week by ISIS. They won't go inside the wreckage as it's probably rigged with explosives. Iraqi troops are now pushing through the last ISIS-held neighborhood in Mosul. They've been trying to kick the terror group out of that city since October. It could be one of the biggest shopping days of the summer. Still ahead, when you can score the deals, but there is a catch. Also ahead, severe weather caught on camera, and Ben will have an update on our weather, which is taking a turn. Up first, a drugstore merger comes undone, but you could still notice some changes where you fill your prescriptions. We'll be right back.
Is Charlie coming up all new on Local 4 News at 5 and 6.
New at 5, look closely at this photo. Can you see the cougar by the mailbox on the right side? It is the first confirmation ever of a mountain lion in Michigan's Lower Peninsula. We'll take you there live at 5. First at 4, we're on top of stories making headlines all across America. Let's start with that massive merger that's fallen apart, but not completely. Walgreens and Rite Aid have decided not to combine forces. The deal was facing intense scrutiny from the government because it would have left customers with just 2 drugstore chains, Walgreens and CVS. Instead, Walgreens will buy more than 2,000 Rite Aid stores for $5.2 billion. That will leave Rite Aid with about 2,300 stores when the deal is done. This Help Me Hank recall alert is also making news across America because of a possible danger to children. These Stockholm 3-drawer TV dressers were sold exclusively at Target.com. Federal regulators say they could tip over, possibly trapping or injuring a child. Luckily, no injuries have been reported. About 1,500 dressers were sold from May of 2015 to August of 2016. Consumers can contact the manufacturer for a refund or a free restraint kit. A storm that moved through parts of Iowa sparked several funnel clouds and tornado touchdowns. This funnel cloud was caught on camera in the town of Sidney, Iowa. That's in the far southwestern corner of the state. No injuries were reported, but several homes were damaged in that region. It is that time of the year when you've got that hot and the cold and all of that just messing with each other, and it's dangerous.
We do have a severe threat both tonight and tomorrow. I think our biggest threat is going to be from straight line winds with those thunderstorms, but good news is so far nothing's out there right now. We do have some storms that are, or I should say rain, still no lightning strikes with these cells that are across northern parts of Indiana. We're going to be watching this, but it's really just the first potential area of thunderstorms that's going to come through here. When we start talking about timing, there's no real significant boundaries to be tracking. This is all going to depend on little differences in the sunshine, differences in the wind shifts. And so it is going to be very hard for the computer models to figure out exactly when and how strong some of these storms are going to be. But we'll keep our eyes on the skies here for the next 36 hours. It is humid out there, 88 degrees, and our heat index right now is only at 89, so just a degree higher than what we've got for our air temperature. But everybody's in the 80s across the area, including up in Sandusky, which is at 81. We'll see similar numbers tomorrow, maybe slightly cooler, depending on how much cloud cover shows up. And this is a jump from those numbers that we saw yesterday at this time, about 10 degrees warmer than our 4 o'clock numbers on Wednesday. So this is our best guess at timing going forward. We'll probably be watching something develop here as we get into the late evening hours. This is closer to sunset, and we'll be seeing these thunderstorms move through. It looks like a little bit better signature of a possible overnight area of thunderstorms that's going to show up right around sunrise tomorrow or just before. This is 5 a.m. as these thunderstorms roll through. Should be gone by the end of the commute, or what's left of the commute for everybody who's on vacation early. And then on Friday afternoon, still a chance of seeing thunderstorms again, and some of those could be severe in the afternoon on Friday. A cold front will come through very early Saturday morning and at least lower the humidity, but it's still going to bring at least a chance of a shower and maybe a thunderstorm as we head into the afternoon hours on Saturday. So tonight only dropping down to around 70, and those possible thunderstorms will be with us not only through the evening but overnight as well. So high temperatures tomorrow similar to what we have today, again maybe slightly cooler. We'll call it 86 there in the city. South zone temperatures anywhere between 85 in Belleville and 86 down towards the state line. West zone highs tomorrow, 83 in Flint, 85 in Chelsea, and in our north zone we're looking at temperatures between 82 and 84, and just about everybody's got a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow as well. Highs stay in the 80s all the way through Thursday of next week. There's a little bit of an uptick towards the end of next week, but we do have multiple chances of getting wet. This weekend is looking mainly dry, but if you're planning things on Saturday and Sunday, Sunday is definitely the drier of the 2 days, and then we'll have some rain chances around for Monday and the 4th as well, Karen.
All right, thank you, Ben. Coming up, attention online shoppers, Christmas in July is almost here. We'll tell you about big discounts and trending stories. First, runaway pigs, more of this viral video, and what caused the surprise roundup on a busy interstate. But first, as we go to break on our Thursday afternoon, you can take a look and see how the markets have closed for the day. We'll be right back. Wrangling loose pigs is never easy. Take a look at this situation. It played out on a busy highway near Dallas. The semi carrying the pigs tipped over, burst into flames on Interstate 45 this morning. Look at all those guys there. Police say the driver was not injured, but some pigs did die in the accident. Others ran off, and a few more gave police a hard time as they tried to load them onto another truck. I don't think they give that kind of training in the police academy. The interstate was closed in both directions for a while. So far, no word on what caused that crash.
I wonder if anybody just ushered one into the back of their own pickup and
I hope
took
not.
one home for dinner.
Oh, maybe became a pet. All right, let's talk about trending stories right now. Online shoppers, they're drooling over news from Amazon. The retailer says his annual Prime Day will kick off, and mark your calendar, July 10th at 9 p.m. and runs into July 11th. Now, it's 30 hours of discounts. Amazon is promising, quote, hundreds of thousands of deals with new offers announced every 5 minutes. The offers are for shoppers with Prime memberships, which cost $100 a year, and you can sign up on or before July 11th to cash in on that big Prime Day.
So like a summer version of Black Friday.
I guess it could be, but you don't even have to like leave your house or do anything.
Perfect. My kind of day.
Sit there in the air conditioning and shop. All right, Dunkin' Donuts facing a lawsuit today over its steak sandwiches. A New York woman is alleging the Angus steak and egg sandwich doesn't actually contain any steak. Instead, the suit claims it's just minced meat with fillers and binders. Now, even though that minced meat does come from Angus cows, the suit accuses Dunkin' Donuts of false advertising. No comment from the company. All right, also trending today for many of us, it's kind of hard to believe we ever lived without the iPhone. But about 10 years ago, these things did not even exist. Today, the iPhone celebrates its 10th birthday. It's the first touchscreen phone ever, and Apple says it's some more than 1 billion iPhones in the past 10 years. By the way, the new iPhone 8 should be out in the early fall.
Do you remember flip phones? I mean, do you remember actually having to open one up and
I remember they were, well, I did like them because they were kind of little.
Yeah.
And then remember those razors? Those were really cool too.
Yeah, that was kind of the transition.
We're aging ourselves, right? Yeah.
Ask your parents, kid.
Remember those rotary phones? Here's an unusual bird tale from Canada. Meet Canuck the Crow. He's becoming a celebrity. Canuck the Crow. He's becoming a celebrity in Vancouver, and his fame is spreading. The crow is known for being extra friendly most of the time, but some people even get to pet him. He is known to show up at local McDonald's, and he's hopped on a train. However, right now, it's nesting season, and he's gotten pretty aggressive protecting his nest. The post office even had to suspend mail service on his street until he stops dive-bombing letter carriers. Still ahead, look, Mom, no feet. The high-tech, high-flying way to play soccer, including the one thing players need to avoid.
Look marvelous in it.
Designer sunglasses that cost big bucks, or those that you can buy at the local gas station for $10? Which do better to protect your eyes? You may be surprised to see what the experts have to say.
They can say that they protect from UV light, but they don't need to tell you how much.
Tonight at 11.